Let's get to the latest now on the federal surge in the district. After 30 days, this order bringing federal law enforcement officers and agents to D.C. will expire in less than 7 hours. We've got some new stats from the White House about this surge.
Yeah, so just a few hours ago, U.S. Attorney for D.C. Jeanine Pirro announced 133 people were arrested last night. That's the most arrests we've seen in one night since this surge began. And the White House says more than 2,300 arrests have been made during these 30 days. An analysis by the AP shows more than 40% of those arrests are immigration related.
Statistics show a decline in crime, but some residents and community leaders say the human toll is mounting.
Our chief investigative reporter Eric Flack has been out on the streets for us today, talking with many of our neighbors, tracking the federal surge and its impacts. And Flack, while official numbers show crime dropping, the story on the ground is a bit more complex, huh?
Yeah, it is. So federal agents began flooding the district 30 days ago. We found that while some residents welcome additional law enforcement, other community members say they are gripped by fear. Dion Bussey Reeder didn't know what was going on when she looked out the window on her quiet block in Anacostia to a caravan of police cars.
But you imagine on a block with the majority of my block are seniors to wake up at 10:30 at night and see 10 police cars with a minimum of 4 people jumping out of each one of them? DEA, Secret Service, I mean, you saw it all. We're not used to that.
And that's that unquantified impact.
There you go. That's the unquantified impact. You said it best. And we don't understand the result of that.
The director of the Far Southeast Family Strengthening Collaborative says her outreach workers are hearing firsthand how the federal surge has changed their community.
People are traumatized by the amount of militant police officers that are in the community. They feel frightened. They're afraid. When their family members are taken, unfortunately, they're unable to connect with them. They don't know what's going on and how to combat that. So the level of fear that has heightened in the community is what the staff at Far Southeast is dealing with, the trauma.
Just down the street at historic Union Temple Baptist Church.
We know the history of what has happened for our people in ordinary situations. Then you have military who have not trained to do inner city policing.
Reverend Willie Wilson, a pastor with more than 50 years serving Ward 8, also feels the impact.
The fear that it has generated in terms of people not feeling safe and feeling free to walk the streets. You know, there have been organizations, for example, who put out flyers and telling people to stay home. You know, don't be out in the streets at all, you know, because of the fear of what might happen.
Federal officials point to declining crime statistics as evidence the surge is working. Data just published Wednesday by MPD showed a 40% drop in violent crime and a staggering 74% decline in carjacking over the same period last year. Property crime is down 12%, and overall, arrests are up 29%.
I enjoy having extra security. I think it's a good thing.
When I spent a night on the street last month tracking the federal surge, I spoke with people who welcomed the crackdown.
Our neighborhood has been the target of a lot of crime. Like, we know a lot of people who have, personally undergone violent carjackings, muggings.
It was overwhelming at first. Now that we're 3 or 4 weeks in, I have seen a lot of change.
Lindsay Queen, who lives on her own in Columbia Heights, reflects the complex feelings many residents have about the federal surge. Queen said her nail salon is losing business, and she blames checkpoints posted outside. But personally, she's happy about the drop in crime.
I feel a lot safer personally. I used to think to myself I could never walk down the street alone. It's just not safe.
Queen, who describes herself as a moderate Republican and Trump supporter, remains cautious about declaring the surge a success.
So you're not fully on board with this?
I'm skeptical. I think it's going to, in the long term, pay off.
Back in Southeast, Dion Bussey Reeder just wonders if the ends justify the means. Has the past 30 days fundamentally changed Washington, D.C.?
Most definitely, forever.
For the better, for the worse?
Well, I agree that we've seen less gun violence, so that's a better. I don't necessarily believe this is the methodology that we should use to change it for better.
Last week, Mayor Bowser signed an order clearing the way for continued collaboration between federal law enforcement and MPD. The National Guard has announced troops will be deployed in D.C. through at least November, even as the D.C. AG sues the Trump administration, claiming the National Guard deployment is unconstitutional, meaning despite the official crime emergency ending just hours at midnight, the federal law enforcement presence within the district could be the new normal, guys.